When we came out of slavery as a people, 100% of our children were born out of wedlock. That's because slavery was built on the destruction of the family. Unique in human history, we were deliberately separated. Mothers from sisters, brothers from, never to see one another again. So when a little child came to himself on a slave plantation somewhere, you asked him who he was. He said, I'm a poor pilgrim, but sorry, I'm lost. In fact, sometimes I feel like a motherless child. But we were so through with that foolishness when we got free that within 30 years, we'd gone from 0% married mothers and fathers rearing their children in love to 80% in 30 years. When Martin Luther King Jr. and I left the East Room of the White House on July 2nd, 1964, with the Civil Rights Bill, 25% of all black young people in the country were born out of wedlock. Today, it's up to nearly 70%. And when a little boy grows up without a father in the home, to teach him how to play ball, to teach him how to fight, to how to protect himself, teach him how to be a man, that boy resents that. He can't beat up that big man, because particularly he's the only time he sees him when he comes home and beats up the woman who's taking care of him. He hates the man, but he can't deal with him, and he transfers that to his peers. And our young people can gun down one another without a pang of conscience, because the sins of the fathers are visited on the third and fourth generations of them that hate me. And when a little girl grows up without a father in the home, to tell her she's the sweetest girl in the world, like my daddy told my sisters, and your daddy loves you so much. You miss that for 13 years. And the first man that comes along and says, baby, I love you, she's gone. And when you got children, rearing children, with high teen pregnancy rates, and we don't need a man. And you know, I'm Papa's a Rolling Stone, you know. I'm the baddest dude on the block because I got more. Whew, forgive me. So that all of that has to be factored in when you understand that Dunbar then is different from where Dunbar is today. And the key to that was caring adults. One of the things that we had a debate about was whether or not we wanted to integrate the public schools. And we were pushing it because when you can segregate people, you can discriminate against them. Segregate them in their housing, you can discriminate as the quality of education goes into it. Segregate them in their housing, you can discriminate in terms of public services. And so we wanted to break out of that. But one of the things that I think our young people miss, and that's why we've got to get all Americans, black and white and red and brown and yellow together, who are teachers, to understand the American dream that Dr. King talked about. A place where people of every race and every creed and every color establish a social contract to care for, protect, and defend one another beyond race, beyond creed, beyond color. And where you appreciate, you know, the various cultures. But we're not there yet. And as a consequence, I'm sure that children today miss the kind of caring adults that we had in elementary school and in junior high school and at Dunbar that told you.
Why do you say Dunbar?
Because of the fact that Dunbar in the black community had the reputation of serious students. So that Ed Brooke, senator from Massachusetts, came from Dunbar. Judge Hastings, the first African-American federal judge. And so you had people telling us, you can do it if you put your mind to it. I fell in love with Paul Robeson in my youth because here was a guy who was a cultural giant, a Phi Beta Kappa scholar from Rutgers, all-American football player, brilliant lawyer, magnificent thespian, and sing. I mean, there's nothing in the annals of music, from the ethereal heights of Mozart to the more banal levels of Elvis Presley to the supposedly icicle-cool genius of Charles Yardbird Parker, as stirring to me as the rich, resonant, robust tones of Robeson rippling over a number like Joshua fit the battle around Jericho. And get on board, little children, there's room for many and more. And those kind of things were sort of built into us. As I said, I was born right here, down here. Down the street was Carter G. Woodson. He had something called the Association for the Study of Negro Life and History. And we used to have Negro History Day in our colored schools, and then Negro History Week. But at that time, not only were your Sunday school teachers telling you, and your parents were telling you, you don't have to. The path I'm going does not have to be the path that you're taking. You forgive me.
And the expectations were that you would go beyond where they were.
You would go beyond, and you'd better. I told you a story that I'm not going to tell now, but you're going to be better. Mm-hmm. Don't you listen to what you see around here. Be kind to those winos at 7th and T, but I better not catch you in a Wild Irish Rose here. And it can be better if you get serious. The thing I loved about Paul Robeson was that, you know, the man spoke 25 different languages. And so they were always throwing up examples from among us of people who had come through much more than we had come through. And we ought to do better.